Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Good morning. Well, wait. It's Thursday, right? It's Thursday. December. Yes, it is Thursday. So, it's Thursday. And I don't know. I think I kind of feel like we may be getting into like a holding pattern before that CPI on Tuesday. But yesterday we had some surprising moves. So let's come in and take a look at that. Treasuries are starting out the day on the upside here, by the way. Oh, looks like we got a few rollovers here. And just take care of that. And so here you got the 10-year Treasury. And we moved up a good 10 or so basis points. And like, here's the crazy thing. Okay, yesterday we had that big spike with when like Putin said nuclear weapons or something like that. That was like insane, right? But like the buying continued. Like it looks like they were gonna break that. Anyways, so I don't know why. I mean, there's no way to know. Maybe sovereign wealth funds getting involved in buying again. I don't know, but that was just a crazy uptrend, right? In the treasuries, S&P 500 yesterday, a lot more lackadaisical, mostly sideways. We're just kind of turning to the upside. There are some dangerous levels below us, like below 3,900. That gets a little ugly in the S&P 500, and the CTAs start piling on. So be advised. Oil bouncing today. That looks, and that's interesting. And I have to keep an eye on oil here, see if they break out or not. Gold and silver also up a little bit. Considering how far the S&P or the treasuries went yesterday, I'm surprised gold's not more, but whatever. And Kappa. Bitcoin, you know, had a little bit of a drop yesterday morning, but basically sideways now. And then there's the dollar, of course. Well, basically about where it was yesterday, right? 105. 105 is an okay place, I guess. And that's basically where we're at. In 1 minute, we get, what do we get? We get U.S. continued jobless. That's all we get? Oh, Biden's going to speak too. Initial jobless claims, estimated reading 230,000 versus a previous reading of 225. So I think I am completely over the flu, and I have developed the dry cough where I don't really need to be coughing, but I keep coughing anyways. So forgive me for that this morning. Here we go. Here comes the jobless claims. They are pulling liquidity here in the treasuries. Man, 3.45 interest rate right now. Okay, we are getting 230 in line with the expectation. Well, let's come over here to Twitter. Look over and see what's going on. Brannigan will be delivering a free trading webinar on the 12th for Metastock. Wow. That's an awesome opportunity. Over his Twitter for that. What's he saying here? Heading into FOMC next week, Mr. Market is becoming ever so confident of a recession in 2023. As such, Euro-dollar futures have been priced in a full 25 basis point cut into 2023 in the last 4 weeks. Here's the catch. In the last 4 weeks, the Fed told us they are going beyond 4.6% median dot and pausing for an extended period of time. At face value, the market is grossly misinterpreting the Fed's stance simply because it believes a recession is almost near guarantee, and moreover, the Fed will be forced to pivot in 2023. This represents a great trade opportunity. I mean, is definitely he's spot on. It's just which side is wrong? Is it the Fed or the market? Well, I tend to find that they're both wrong on the margins. So, Bitfinex posting a lot of stuff overnight. That guy needs to put the Twitter down sometimes. Love him, but sometimes it's a little too much. Well, I think I don't really have a whole lot to predict the flows today here in the treasuries. The only thing I really got going here is that the momentum is up. We do on the S&P 500 watch out for those CTAs, because the CTAs could be flipping. And that's basically where we're at. Ten people watching. Thank you very much. Make sure you hit that like button. Helps the channel out a lot. We are getting more people earlier on in the stream, which is nice. Means you guys are serious. Liquidity in the 10-year is a little lighter today. Uzi. Yes, this is serious business. I have a tendency to be too serious, guys. Okay, so there was a spoof there. Was pushing him up onto new highs, and he just pulled and they came down. Is there any way to tell if traders are putting on spread trades with, with order flow? That's a good question. So what would be sufficient? I mean, it would be really lovely if we could go into their accounts and see, okay, that guy that just bought that, he also bought that. And so we know that he's on a spread traders, or what his position was, or things like that, right? Not so that would be like the ultimate, right? But one of the things that you can do is you could come in here. In fact, this is kind of a market is actually like a great place to see it. Is like it's just sitting here going nowhere, and you're starting to see a bunch of flow, just like passive flows, but maybe crossing the spread, going into a certain price. And then you look over here on this instrument and they're doing the same thing, but they're selling it. And you're like, what the heck? Right. Probably a spread trade, right? Or I come over here and I look at cumulative delta, like right this morning. Great example, right? If I look at the cumulative delta, so these bottom charts, they go, there's the ZB and ZN, ZF going from left to right. And then top to bottom, you've got the instrument, cumulative delta, and the spread. So look, they're selling the 30 and buying the 5. Okay, so that's the steepener, right? And so what do you see? Spread is moving up, steepening, right? So you can absolutely see the difference between the instruments in the flows. And it can be quite a strong effect sometimes, right? And as I've mentioned many times, if you're going to trade the treasuries, keeping in mind which direction the spread is going is super important. Okay, like right now, the overall trend is up, right? But the trend is also steepener, So if I'm in ZB, if I'm trading ZB and I'm seeing selling in ZB, I kind of have to discount that, right? Because I know that the overall curve is actually moving up. And the only reason why I'm seeing the selling in ZB is because of the spread. So I don't want to take that as a signal to reverse and try and follow that one when I know that these ones are pushing up, right? I'm going to have to pay attention to the floats. If I think we're going to move up, and the steepener continues, then I need to be watching the 5 and the 10. And the 5 is probably going to be the one that leads the way. Makes sense? So that it's really, really, especially with the treasuries, it's really, really important to watch all three of them and kind of keep the track of the differences. That's why I have a chart up, because I don't necessarily notice that stuff on my own. So I have to have a chart to track it. QJ, good morning. It's just the worst cough. Nothing comes up. It's just my throat tickles and I feel the need to cough. I need a cough suppressant of some sort. I did take my allergy medication last night to try and get the histamines back down, so that probably helps. I'm not blowing my nose a ton. What are you talking about, Yuzi? We traded a WNBA player for the Lord of War. Who what? Every time somebody mentions the WNBA, I'm just like, wait, that's still a thing? Okay. So I tell you what, that spoof that we saw was like what, 1,800 contracts, didn't move up, came back down. Seeing something like that early makes me really not want to participate. Yeah. US traded Brittany Griner for Victor Bout. Oh, that's right. I see. I've never seen that movie. I don't think I've ever heard of that movie. Is it good? It's got Nicolas Cage in it. It's probably not a good movie. Nicolas Cage is awesome, but he made a lot of terrible movies. Yeah, I do remember that whole thing where I mean, it's been an ongoing thing with Joe Biden that a lot of people disagree with his negotiating tactics, let's say. There's your predictor of order flow, says. Yes, we got to sell the treasuries now, guys, because the Lord of War guy is out. It looks like we're getting some positive flows come into the S&P 500 here at the moment. Oh, you watch my... Well, you know what? Like, those videos, QJ. So, first of all, I would watch it again. But, like, I would watch it again in, like, a month, Because the first set of those videos is really more about understanding what you're seeing, right? You notice that I'm really cautious in that video. I do kind of give a little bit of heuristics about my own approach, right? Seeing spoofing first thing in the morning, and then especially when I saw that it was very much was a spoof, that says to me, I don't want to touch this, right? Sometimes they will come in and you'll see them ping it back and forth a couple of times to stir up the liquidity. And that doesn't appear to be what's happening right now. Right now, it looks like market maker is expecting today to be choppy. or rather that he's going to make today choppy. could have been just a head fake and that they want to sell the treasuries today. I don't know. They did breach those lows pretty easily. I'll say that much. There's a slightly large order at 22 now though, right? So that's where it's like I gotta be careful, right? So I did kind of give those heuristics, but the video is really more about understanding what you're seeing, and I very much try to avoid saying this is a signal. When you see this, do this. When you see this, do this, because it's not that simple. I think that what happened was a lot of people took order flow and market making methods and they tried to turn them into a technical analysis strategy, right? Which is wrong. So don't treat it like technical analysis, right? Just you can use those. Those are data points that when you combine them with the other information that you have, they can tell you things, right? Okay, now that's interesting. I would say that the volume is coming through pretty steady. I would expect at maybe around 18.5. There might be some pushback against this, but how the LFT trader, bonjour, good morning. How are you? I should, you know what? I want to spend more time learning languages, but I don't think I will. And I want to learn Chinese, but I want to brush up on my French, because all the cool kids in the order flow world are in France, apparently. I don't know. This is kind of like screaming to me like it just wants to keep going. I mean, this is kind of the flow that I thought we were going to get yesterday. So there was a tweet from John Bollinger. Wait, John Bollinger has a tweet? Are we talking about... Wait, I think this is a different guy from who I'm thinking of. Oh no, it is the Bollinger Band, guys. I think that I wouldn't expect a strategy that was invented 30 years ago to work. Yeah. He criticized. Was he criticizing those of us that bash TA? Because that's totally me. You want to go? Let's go. We could have debates, like we could have live stream debates about technical analysis and stuff. Let's go. Yes, he was. Oh well, he's a hack then. I don't know anything about the guy, but let me tell you something. There are multiple studies that suggest that there were sort of these technical analysis based edges in the markets, and when the computers came along in the 80s, they disappeared. So, you know, Bollinger Bands have been around for decades, and I've back tested, man, literally every kind of man. I have this indicator. Let's see if I can pull it up. Actually, let's see if I can pull it up. I think I should have it saved. Because, you know, like a Bollinger Band basically is how far is price deviating from what the average price was. Okay. So there's a fundamental problem with that, which is that a price is not a stationary series. So that sort of a thing is just like straight up not going to work, right? You can come in and you can do statistical information on like the volatility. So like how much did it move in this bar, and you'll find some interesting things. But to come in and say, okay, well, it's this far away from the moving average, totally useless. Totally useless. Yeah, I do have them. I do have them. So see all of these up here at the top? These are all like trillion different ways of doing RSI that I've back tested. So I came in here and I did an optimization. Essentially, what I'm doing is like changing that midband. So the midband is just based on a simple moving average. So what if we used a more responsive midband? What if we used a different way of calculating the average? So for instance, instead of using roots squared or whatever it is, we just use the average absolute value, right? And so I'm using all of these optimization algorithms to go through like all of the different variations of that and find something that might work. And it looks like I did find one here that on... Okay, so I found a few that like appeared to work, but then I went and did it on a 5-year period. And it did make $10,000, but $10,000 over 5 years isn't very good. And look at the Sharpe ratio on it, 0.13. So like, I really dug into like a Bollinger Band kind of strategy. And yeah, it did not work very well. I've probably put more back tests into that than anything else, actually. Well, and order flow, of course. Oh, what's this? Yep, Scott Adams is actually making a good point here. All communication depends on making assumptions about the motives and background of the speaker, and that means you need to know something about the speaker. Anonymous communication removes your understanding of who is speaking. That is usually harmful. What to do? Some anonymous accounts identify their professions, such as doctors, lawyers, and engineers. Others clearly show their political leanings. I value those anonymous interactions. Maybe consider a semi-anonymous category, which I can know something useful about you. The issue that we have right now in social media is that the online environment, and particularly the anonymous online environment, creates a very fertile ground for the worst actors to come in and screw with us. 100% it. And what's the solution? You have to have some way to establish authority on a subject. The way that social media goes about establishing authority is absolutely terrible. We need better forms of that. There would probably need to be like performance-based metrics. Man, my lips are really chapped this morning. Have you ever looked into options times and sells looking at while trading using Thinkorswim? What do you think could be gained from looking at options orders? So the thing that you're going to find generally overall is that most markets tend to move together, right? So, you know, if I come in and I start looking at the options orders, they're probably going to match pretty well with what I'm seeing here in the futures, right? Although one of the things that you can do with options is you can kind of see what prices they were doing their business at, And there are certain things about market positioning that you can learn from that. Now, that wouldn't really be done by watching times and sales. That would be kind of more like developing a model, and there are models that you can pay for that kind of focus on that. So I think any piece of data that you can look at out there can potentially give you information that can help your trading, but you kind of have to question, like, what are you paying and giving up by adding more data and stuff, you know? So I would say could potentially be useful, but I wouldn't say it's necessary by any means. This is not something that I watch or have any interest in watching. FX Macro saying there will probably be 2.2 billion of Bitcoin supply from Mt. Gox probably by the end of Q1. Is it really going to be that long? Joseph Wang, don't worry about underfunded retirement funds. The government will bail them out. By the way, a lot has been promised and a lot will be printed. Biden releasing nearly $36 billion to aid a pension of union workers. Oh, geez. There are a lot of states that have underfunded pensions, don't they? I forgot about that whole thing. Okay, what's this? We got some FTX information. U.S. federal prosecutors are investigating whether FTX's founder Sam Bankman-Fried manipulated the market for two cryptocurrencies this May that led to their collapse and resulted in the implosion in his own cryptocurrency exchange, the New York Times reported on Wednesday. The prosecutors are looking into whether Bankman-Fried controlled the prices of two interlinked currencies, Terra, USD, and Luna, to benefit the entities he controlled, including FTX and Alameda Research, the report said. Full story on Reuters. The investigation is in its early stages, the newspaper said, adding that it is not clear whether prosecutors have determined any wrongdoing by Bankman-Fried or when they began looking at the Terra USD and Luna trades. Simple is better, says Zach. No. So here's the trick in trading. Okay, the trick in trading is taking something really, really complicated and making it simple, right? If you can come in and you can have a really sophisticated framework to work from, that's going to give you an advantage because the market is competitive, and one of the ways that you can improve your edge is to be more sophisticated than other traders. Right? And so if you have more information and you're combining that information together, then you're, generally speaking, you're going to do well. But you're also going to lose speed. You're also going to lose, decisiveness, etc., etc. So you need to be able to take that complicated framework and be able to execute on it very efficiently as well. Right? Now, one of the best ways to do that is to just do all of the work ahead of time, right? Okay, well, they're pushing below 18.5. I could see them touching 16. This trend, of course, is already quite a ways along. I do kind of wonder, like, the whole thing here is that yesterday, what the treasuries were doing, lower interest rate. Oh, sorry, that was a little loud. Lower interest rates would suggest a recession, right? But the S&P 500 wasn't moving. There wasn't like any news. So I think we do have to consider that the move in the treasuries may not have had any fundamental catalyst behind it at all. So if that's true and that's done with, then you would expect the market to retrace quite a bit, right? Now, do we have a trade here? Maybe we can go on to the downside now. But the spread in the micro 10-year is really, really wide. So liquidity conditions are not conducive to us right now. So let's just sit and monitor the situation. See if that comes in together. The exact reason I'm trying to learn the order book doesn't seem like many traders are familiar with it. Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny to me because I've been doing it for years and the flow is just almost like second nature to me now, it feels like. But very, very few traders go in and learn order flow, let alone the DOM. And it is quite sophisticated, you know? It's just like too much work for a lot of people. I think the other thing is that, you know, people want like a very deterministic system, right? They want something that gives you very clear entry and exit signals, right? I think that's like one of the things that I looked for a lot was I was like, well, if you're going to give me a strategy, you know, you need to have clear entry and exit signals. Otherwise, you're just blabbing and not actually giving me anything. You're just pulling me along. You're just stringing me along like a fool. You're not giving me entries and exits, right? Well, I've learned better. I've learned better since then that, you know, the market is very efficient and that if you have an edge, you don't, especially a statistical edge, you don't want to give that out for starters. But then second of all is that the market is just very statistically efficient. And so that kind of a strategy is not going to work at all anyways. So to really stand a chance, you kind of do have to play around in kind of the gray areas, right? Or if look and do that if you fill in all the gold. So order flow, how do we put this? Well, I'm just going to go back to what I said earlier. A lot of people basically came in and learned order flow and then started applying technical analysis to order flow, right? That's just humans. That's just what people have a tendency to do. Okay. You take anything. I give you an example. I'll make a prediction. Okay. I'll make a prediction. People will start doing technical analysis on machine learning algorithms. They'll start doing things. They'll put information into the machine learning algorithm and see what they get back. And based on the information that they get back, they're going to combine that information together and use that to try and make predictions about the future. I guarantee it. I guarantee it's going to happen because humans are built to do technical analysis. But the whole evolutionary advantage that the human mind has is that it is very good at looking at normal distributions and trying to make predictions based on that. Okay. And when you're trying to predict when the crops are going to grow or where the animals are going to be, that's a very, very useful skill. Okay. But when you put it into a system where trading on the edge eliminates the edge and creates a competitive market, doesn't work. In the past days is not very indicative of what the future will be. So order flow, for instance, has a lot of really interesting stylized behaviors that are so like when you look at price looks mostly random, but when you look at order flow, you find many very, very strong properties. The most famous of which being that the signs are autocorrelated. Okay, so if I see a buy, much more likely to see another buy an hour from now. So it has the strong autocorrelation in order sign and a long memory, right? And so researchers went in and they said, well, why is that? And they tried a bunch of different models. They thought it's because momentum, like I see you doing it, and so then you do it, and then I do it, and everybody else does it, and that's why it happens. And so they tried a model and that would do that, and they couldn't duplicate all of the stylized behaviors that we see in the market. It just didn't match our observations with the market. So then they said, well, maybe it's just like big traders trading, right? Maybe it's large meta orders. So they went and they made a model based on that, and then it perfectly matches everything. So what we get is there are big traders that come in, they have to buy or sell a ton here, and then there are market makers, and market makers adjust their bids and offers in a manner in which to make the price move randomly, even though these large meta orders are coming through. So if we know which way the large meta orders are coming through, and we know before they come through, we can position ourselves and take advantage of those orders. But you got to be careful, because there's going to be a little bit of noise in that, right? Okay, so that is kind of some technical data. I can come in and I can say, well, since the order flow overall has been to the downside, maybe I want to sell too. That hasn't been the case today. The volume has kind of been back and forth. In fact, we're seeing like we saw a large iceberg in the 5-year of some sort get filled in here, and so the cumulative delta in the 5 years is actually at its highs at the moment. Okay, so that's maybe kind of technical data, but like I'm just telling you, if you trade just off of that, you're not gonna make money. It might get you break even, but you're gonna need more than that. So again, it's just what people have done is they've come in and they moved to order flow because their traditional technical analysis didn't work. And what did they do? They applied technical analysis to it. That's what I did at the very beginning. Is I went and I applied technical analysis to it. And I took me a long time to realize that the reality is just that it doesn't work that way. The past data has like no control, almost no influence whatsoever, other than volatility's sake, on what it's going to do next. What determines what's going to happen next is the orders. You can predict the orders, but probably not from the past data. And it's because of those new orders can be so completely disconnected from everything that came before it that we really get the market that's so difficult to trade that we have, right? So don't use technical analysis. And by that I mean you're going to come in and you're going to say, I have like these metrics that are based on order flow, and when they're all met, I'm going to come in and I'm going to take a trade. I haven't found one of those that works. I've done a bunch of back testing. The back testing with order flow is a little sketchy, but that seems to have some issues. It seems to like switch between different modes, and you never know when it's going to switch and just completely stop working. So I would instead recommend just trying to predict the orders, because we can know lots of information sometimes that will predict the orders. Like in the S&P 500, we know that somewhere, actually I could come back and find the actual price levels if we can. The Zero Hedge put a note out about this. Okay, the oil is surging because of the Keystone Pipeline leak is what they're saying. Here we are. So they're saying that the threshold levels are 39.14, 39.75, and 40.71. Okay. So 39.71 might get breached here this morning. So if we get a good open, that might give you a good opportunity to go long. Lucas. Oh, he just says my name. Should we roll? What do you mean? Are you talking about ES? Not all of my instruments rolled today. For ES, I just wait until NinjaTrader tells me. Yeah. I just wait until NinjaTrader tells me because I'm not actively trading it. So in this situation, so there are some times where you have like news like right up into the roll, and so sometimes that can kind of delay the roll or speed up the roll. We don't really have that going on with ES, right? So I don't know if it matters which one you trade. Okay. The more important thing would be recognizing that the flow will be split between two instruments and be kind of sketchy. Yeah, that's the same thing as it told me to roll NQ and YM, but it didn't tell me to roll ES. I bet you tomorrow it will tell us to roll ES though. One of the things is that a lot of the flows that are in here for the treasuries are hedging against interest rates from equities traders or whatever the deal is. So once ES flips over to a new contract, it does change the volume over here a bit. I mean, the volume over here in the treasuries changes a lot when they roll over, but it changes a little bit again when ES rolls over. That's a predictor of order flow that we have that we can use as the beginning and end of a contract. Then you recommend any source a beginner can... Well, my own videos are probably the best source, in my opinion. I learned from No BS Day Trading, and I think that that's a really great book. Okay, but I have a video. There's a playlist that you should be able to find on my channel page that goes into order flow, and that is what I believe is the most thorough and correct guide to order flow. A lot of people, like I said, a lot of people turn it into technical analysis and things like that. I'm just helping you understand what you're looking at, and then I give you the real data, the stylized behaviors of order flow that no other people aren't sharing with you, that are backed by science. So like the last video in that series. So that's why I would watch mine. Less than 10% is rolled according to the pace of roll tool from the CME. Well, maybe we should stay on the old one then. I tell you what, when those treasuries turn down to the downside, they sure do it quickly, don't they? And that time, the 5-year actually was the leader. So we're getting some flattening here in this morning again. Did you notice something off on ES yesterday during the first half hour? You know, to be honest, I don't remember thinking about the ES very much at all yesterday. But the thing that I noticed this morning when I was looking at it was that they didn't really go very far yesterday, did they? It was just like really constrained, and it was really kind of weird given how far the treasuries moved, you know? I am a little bit I am being a little bit more cautious on this move because number one, there's been a lot of chop. Like look at the move here. We had like that initial sell, broke the lows, but then it was like choppy. This is a little ugly. And then another push down, but like look, that one's already coming back hard too. So this might be just like post meta order regime change sort of a thing. Like they're settling back down after all of the craziness yesterday in the treasuries, and it was trading double the normal volume before the Bank of Canada announcement and Putin. Okay, so before Bank of Canada, I definitely had seen like some flows coming through the markets that were like, okay, what's going on here? They must be doing stuff because of Bank of Canada. Although now I kind of wonder if it had nothing to do with that. And then there was the Putin thing. Now the Putin thing, the weird thing about the Putin thing was that it seemed like the treasuries was the only one that was reacting to it. But I think the reason why the treasuries reacted in the way that it did, in part, so I think what happened yesterday in the treasury was like, somebody was buying it anyways. Who knows why, okay? But they were going to be buying it the whole day. And then the Putin thing comes out, and the market reacts to that. So these guys that are buying, they're panicking because they're like, oh, I got to buy as much of it as I can now because this is just going to get away from me. So I think that was part of it, was the block trader panicked. And then they also broke a weekly high / moving average. And so I think that all kind of combined together to create like a really wild flow that, you know, was very short-lived. But if you're hinting that maybe they knew that Putin was going to say something or something like that, I'm not sure if I see the evidence for that. The meta orders became unmeta. Yeah. So like when you've got a large meta order coming in and executing, there can kind of becomes a point at which like everybody in the market figures it out. And if they're going to be continuing to trade all day, then it kind of just becomes a big mess. Everybody chasing it. This is when everybody starts chasing it. And that's when you get trend days. Right? So when you get those days where it just like, it never stops. Because it should be, you know, move, come to the edge of their impact, put as much through that, move, come to the edge of your impact. But sometimes you just get a move where it doesn't wait the 45 minutes. It just keeps going and going. That's when people are chasing. That was a good nose blowing. I really don't like this micros here. What's with that? Why is even the micro 10 showing 10 tick spread? It makes no sense. Nassim Taleb, sizing of positions is key when you short a bubble. After over 3 years of short, ended up covering HLF, went in after Eichmann capitulated. Why wait until the shorts hit uncle points? Naive Shorts are usually correct, but have too large a size. Oh, he's showing that he covered his Herbalife. HLF. Wait. You think Taleb is bashing BTC people? I think he's bragging, actually. There's 16. Could have made 10 bucks there. That was awfully fast. I think a lot of people said to him, good luck being poor for not jumping into Bitcoin. So now he's like, well, that's been happening too. Oh my. Okay, I see what's going on here. Actually, we can go back further than that. Wasn't Herbalife bigger than that at one point? Oh, no. Okay. So it kind of peaked in 2019. It was $60 at one point, and he covered at 12.54 after a big plunge today. He has been bashing Bitcoin people pretty heavy though, for sure. Yeah, do not like the spreads I see here in the micros, man. Somebody did buy 25 at 3,497, and that was probably a robot. That was probably somebody saying, well, it does have to go up, and taking a big chunk. Your friend passed level 1 of CFA. Yeah, I've been wondering if CFA is really valuable. Like, chartered financial analyst, right? Because it's not like a government certification or anything like that, right? It's from this academy. And so it's really hard to do and to get to the top levels of the program and everything. But I'm kind of asking, like, does it actually help you? Because wasn't there a study that said that managers that were CFAs didn't actually perform better? But then, like, the side thing here is that, like, when it comes to performance, it kind of looks like, you know, true outperformance on a consistent basis is truly rare, you know, and that just outperforming a little bit is actually like a huge accomplishment. Yeah, so where have you been? How's it going? I need a better job, and I don't want to use my law degree. Why not? Oh, the law degree is a great one to use there. Well, I tell you what I'm doing is I'm gonna get that Series 65, and then I can start my own investment company. So, like, that's the thing, is you go through and it's like, okay, like, most funds don't perform very well, right? And everybody's like, well, these are like the best professionals and everything else like that, right? But what I'm realizing is it's like, I can pass the test and then pay all of the fees and stuff, set up my investment company, and I can basically be a hedge fund or a mutual fund. Like it's that simple. Like, the barrier to entry to being an investment advising company is not actually that high. It's not as high as I thought it was, at least. Okay, it is kind of pulling back here a little bit. You're getting this thing, like, the micros seem very disconnected from what the full treasury instrument is doing. You gonna share some stuff with me? Ooh, you gonna message? Well, you can post it here too, huh? Okay. So now they're back, right? This is where I was like, oh, I could have made $10. So secretive. I don't know if he's being secretive about it or not yet. Maybe he should be. Maybe he's not planning on being secretive and he should be. No. No. Okay, wait, here we go. Oh, he's his algo. Oh, that's curious. I don't know. These results, I think I wouldn't be 100%. I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, it looks like it's making money. It looks like it's doing well, but it looks like it's really tied to volatility here, right? Over here, it's doing well from volatility. So it's really tied to volatility. And now when you get an algorithm that does well with volatility like that can be great. But I've also found that when you have an algorithm that like doesn't actually perform in real life, right? That's also what you tend to see. So I guess we just have to run that one, you know, on a sim account live for a bit. See how it performs and then slowly start taking risk with it and see if the results still hold. As long as you follow the testing process. But it's a good start, I guess. Starting January. Good. It's cumulative P&L, but it looks like the P&L is based on ticks. So I don't know if the Sharpe ratio is super high. If you get so I found this metric. It's called probability. Was it probability adjusted Sharpe ratio? I think. Yeah, something like that. There's a paper about it, and that is a super awesome metric. It does a really good job of taking out some of those biases in certain metrics that your algorithms kind of cheat. So I would put it in that and see what the performance is. Because a lot of the things that I find are kind of like, it kind of works, but the amount of risk that you're taking on to do it isn't really worth it, right? Like my current stock portfolio strategy, that is really the case with that one. I think that the performance is largely because of one that I took that was like ended up being a big mistake, but and I still don't know why I did that one, to be honest with you. It's kind of weird that I was so gung-ho about getting in that one, but it added a lot of deviation in my portfolio, so it's outperforming, but the amount of risk that I'm taking to get that outperformance is like not worth it. according to the metrics that Fidelity gives me, at least. Let's see here. They went as high as 19. Huh. But I didn't see any volume come through there. That's curious. There was volume up in this. So, but like, so these retail traders have been willing to pay up that much, huh? See here, S&P 500 about to start. We don't have anything else today, right? Yes, 4-week bill auction today. Okay. Of course, tomorrow, PPI. And remember that it's 39.75 on the upside that we want to keep an eye on, and 39.14 on the downside. 75 and 14. Oh, you're not staying for very long, Gus. All right. Well, thank you for showing me. Excited to see if that runs live. Well, Sticks and Hammers 666 is not happy about the Griner swap. I guess that's what the politicos are going to be talking about today. Not good trading for you today? I think that if I had tried trading this today, I would probably be unhappy. But I saw it right there from the very beginning. The Treasury is kind of giving me these signals that like, this might not be a good day. Yeah, he posted. Does he still make YouTube videos? I don't know. It hasn't shown me him for a long time. He's probably getting throttled or something. Because I think he was really anti-COVID, wasn't he? Oh, thanks, Gus. You've put in a lot of work on, because you're doing a lot of things from scratch, right? That I would like to do myself, but, you know, I haven't had the time lately. I've focused on other things, you know. Every morning he does them. Well, I was just reading a tweet. That was just his tweet. So I'm sure that he'll make a video about it today, but it'll be later in the day. I really wish that I could come in and just spout off my general opinion on politics off the top of my head and make and have a vibrant YouTube channel off of it like he can. I don't think that would work for me. I feel like every time that I start getting into like my own, well, I don't know. Have I really done that on TikTok lately? I guess I should try it. I don't know what I would like to talk about though. Like one of the things that I keep finding is interesting is like I'll come in and I'll have an issue. I'll be like really focused on it, right? And nobody else cares. And then when everybody else cares, one of two things will happen. Either one, I won't get the traffic because all of the other big creators are now doing it, and so it goes to them. And so I don't get any kudos for being ahead of the curve. Or I lose interest. I just lose interest. It's like, well, it's popular. I don't care anymore. And I'm finding, especially in politics, more and more and more, that I just don't care. It's like this Griner trade. I don't care. Probably should care. I probably should be like, oh, Joe Biden's an awful president, and these are all of the reasons why we need to get rid of him, and this is just so stupid. And yet, but like, I just don't care anymore. I don't know why that is, what changed in me, but something changed after 2020. I stopped caring. Still seeing upside pressure here in the treasuries. Pull back from that most recent push down. Lose balance. Well, I think that if the S&P 500's initial move had been to the upside, that they might have had some issues and that the CTAs might have all flipped. But that's not what it's doing right now. You know, we should talk about this because we haven't, but you know, one of the things that we've been seeing is the S&P 500 has been down now like what, 7 days in a row or something. And there's kind of been this like, oh, what's causing this? They're worried about a recession and stuff. But when I look at the correlations and the flows, they just don't quite match up. The market's doing some things kind of screwy, and I don't completely understand it. So I think that a better explanation for what the market has been doing lately is tax loss selling. I think it was you, Lucas, wasn't it? Was saying in Discord that it could be tax loss selling. The more I look at this, the more I'm thinking that, yeah, the S&P 500 seems to be doing tax loss selling. So is that what they're doing this morning? Right out the gate selling? Let's give it a little bit of time. It was Octavius. That's right. I think you're probably right. I think that the S&P 500 probably is seeing tax loss selling. Harvest them tax losses. Keep them for years to come. Right? So oil was up this morning, and they are now giving up almost all of their gains. They're giving it all up, along with the S&P 500 just careening down here on the open. I am not following the World Cup, sorry. I should, huh? Here's another thing that happens to me. This is an ADHD thing. Is if there's a deadline in front of me, I kind of get hyper focused on it. And it makes it very difficult for me to see past the deadline. So, my work wanted me to get this. Our boss, he wanted us to all get this certification. Because, you know, we should be able to use that to justify paying everybody more, because he wants everybody to get paid more. My boss is really working hard for us, more than my past bosses have, and I really appreciate it. So I've been studying for that all week. I got this Udemy course and I took it, and I was getting like 80. The last test that I took 90% on them. So I've gone through all of them. I feel like I know my thing, and I just got to take the darn test, and I have it scheduled for today. But like, it's hard for me to want to get into anything else, right? And now once I've got that out of the way, then I still have this Series 65. And I'm basically to the point where I should probably be scheduling my Series 65. After I pass this test, maybe I'll go and I'll schedule it. Because I was thinking, we'll have to see what they say. But maybe I could take it in this week before the new year. I'll have to see what their schedule looks like. But I have like 3 more practice tests to take. And, you know, that's like 2.5 hours. So I could do that, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday if I wanted. Probably not Friday, but Saturday, Sunday, and then do the last one or something like that. So I could totally take it like next week if I want. But I'm trying to memorize some things. So I think I'm gonna hold off on taking those tests and spend more time memorizing. And I just didn't do it this week because of this other test, right? So anyways, the gist is that my ADHD has been making it hard for me to focus on anything new or interesting. Because I would also really like to be doing more stuff with machine learning. I'm requesting you pull up a DOM of the 2 years for the new year. It's been great to learn on. Why do you say that? I mean, the thing is the 2 year is extremely different from the other ones, right? And I have pulled it up at times, but I just didn't find that it did anything that the 2 year wasn't doing. You know? We can do a vote on it, is what we'll do. We'll do a vote, and we'll see whether people would rather have a big chart, stupid chart of the S&P 500 or the 2 year. Would also kind of move things, which I don't think I would like. So I think I would just have the 2 year over here on its own, which wouldn't be as useful, but I don't think that I want to move everything over so I can fit the 2 year on the right. Okay, well, the spreads have come back in. Meishan, how was it going, my friend? I don't know. I'd be interested. You know, I like that you were saying like for the new year. So I'd be interested in hearing what you guys would like to do for the new year. I mean, it's looking like 2022 becomes the year Seth starts an investment company. That just sounds so weird to me, but because like when I started it, when I started and I got the Series 65, I was like, I'm not 100% sure what I'm supposed to do with this, but I want to get it, right? And now that I'm getting close to getting it, I'm like, it seems like what you do with it is you make an investment company. How does the difficult? It's not difficult at all. Okay, like don't get me wrong, this test is freaking hard. Like you have to know the material, but the concepts are not hard. Is just memorizing a bunch of information about regulations and stuff. And then there's this whole thing. I tell you what, one of the things that I think is funny is that there are a lot of test questions that are like, okay, here's a person and here's what their situation is. Would this be a suitable investment for them or whatever the deal is, right? And then knowing what is and isn't and all that sort of stuff. And that's the stuff that is probably really, really hard for some people. And I just pass all of those questions easy. I have no problem with those ones at all. The ones that I have a hard time with right now is like, well, if you memorize this one number, like if you remember what the minimum net worth is for someone to do a viatatical insurance trade, then you get the question right, and if you don't, then it's kind of a shit show, or you just kind of have to guess. So if you were like studying with it part-time, like you're spending 4 to 8 hours, you would probably be able to do it within 4 to 8 weeks. So it's not like a huge burden. I've spent most of this year studying it though. Short position reached its target, so oh, very good. I tell you what, over here in the micro treasuries, because now that the spreads are in, that kind of takes away one excuse. So I'm kind of sitting here like, well, we could try taking a trade. But these don't seem to be in line. Like, look, we're at 3,495, right? And we were at 3,495 with just a larger spread when we were like at like 18, 19. Okay, for the Series 65, you don't have to be sponsored. Anybody can go and get it. Because remember, a Series 65 is the one that you take to become an investment advisor or investment advisor representative. So what it means is after we start this and I start my own investment advisor company, then you could go and fill out a form online that would have like a bunch of personal information, like all of your investments that you already have and what your goals are and stuff like that. And then I could give you advice about how to invest your money. That's like at a base level what an investment advisor does, right? But an investment advisor can also give advice to a fund on how to invest their money too, right? And there's all these exceptions and stuff for like if you're only advising institutional clients and things like that, right? So then it turns into actually having your Series 65 is kind of a prerequisite to starting a hedge fund. So you get your Series 65 and then you file all of the appropriate paperwork and then you can be a hedge fund. So it's supposed to be something that anybody is supposed to be able to do, right? Because what happened was, you know, people were investing other people's money and there was no regulations around it, and then the stock market crashed and certain advisors just ran off with all the money. So then they made laws around it. So it's kind of a scary thing for me to say, to like, you notice that I like feel uncomfortable even talking about it because I'm sitting here like, oh, I can't be a hedge fund manager, can I? Should I be doing that? You know? But it seems like that's where it's going. I really should try and take that test before the end of the month. If based on the tests I'm taking right now, I would pass. But that one I am really nervous about because you take the tests and most of the time I was like just on the edge of passing. So I'm nervous about taking it. I don't think I'm ready yet. I think I need to commit the material to memory better. You manage your own investments now? Yes. Although, to be honest with you, Morgan, it doesn't require a whole lot of management. Because I'm most of it is just going into the 401k and the IRA now as well. And I don't do anything super fancy. I guess I do kind of do something a little fancy with my 401k. So I do have a mix. But doesn't require a whole lot of work on my part, you know? So it's only going to go further though. What would you do differently for clients? Well, okay, so this is kind of the question. So like, here's what I don't want to have happen. I go and I take the test and I pass the test. And then it's like, okay, I guess we're going to start our own investment advisor. We start our own investment advisor. Okay, well then you have to go and find clients. And who are my clients going to be? Am I going to advise some grandma that comes in or what? Like, you know, where's your business going to come from? Who's the customer where's the problem that we're seeking to solve? We're just trying to be an investment advisor. You know what I mean? So like, I don't want to go through all that work and then not actually use it. Is kind of, I think, the risk that I run here, right? The reality is that most people do not need the services of an investment advisor. It's not until you start getting to larger net worth or you get closer to retirement that having an investment advisor is really worthwhile. Man, they sure come back down awfully quickly, don't they? In the treasury? The flows still look a little random to me, and again, like, these micros aren't moving very much. Like, I wouldn't be getting even $5 if I had taken any kind of trade over here. But that's the other side of it, is that an investment advisor doesn't just have to be advising regular people, right? There's a wide application of it. So we'll see where it takes us. It's going to be an adventure, isn't it? Spoos look like they're trying to dig their way out. I don't know if they'll make it or not. It looks like there is some pretty decent absorption on the bids, though. Oh, there was a new low in the 10-year, wasn't there? But micro 10-year still sitting at 3.5. The question in my mind is, should I try and schedule it here in December, or should I do it in January and give myself that like whole Christmas time period to study? So I haven't been studying very much during the week, and I think that's been another problem, is like information retention, you know. Man, they're gonna keep going here. Well, I don't have the guts to do anything right now, man. We still got plenty of time left today. Well, where are we in relation to yesterday now? It is retracement area. So it could definitely keep going. The volume is not clear to me. The spread is. That's funny. This, when we came in this morning, we were talking about the spread and we were saying, yeah, you know, this is the way the trend in the spread is going. But it's been going the exact opposite of that all morning now. It's just been flattening, flattening, flattening. See somebody sitting there at 3.5. Just gave in. Bunch of retail traders getting involved there now at 3.51. It comes back. Oh, look at that. Can you trade crypto using JS? Using JavaScript? Wouldn't recommend that. Oh my gosh, writing a trade robot with JavaScript? Oh, Jigsaw. Gotcha. I think that there are ways but it's not like a common thing. I have seen some platforms that are similar to Jigsaw, specifically for cryptocurrencies, though. So you might want to look for. I would probably look for something that was specific to crypto, but. I personally can't recommend day trading cryptocurrencies, though. It's pretty difficult to gain an edge in cryptocurrencies. They cheat, right? Oh, by the way, I should note the liquidity in the main 10-year has thickened up considerably. We're getting putting like 12, 15s up now. And that whole area that we just traced down from, they're putting the liquidity up. So I think that we have to consider that there might be a meta order short countering yesterday's coming through here. Finance, yeah, all like straight up, what they do is they look at how everybody's positioned and then they push it against them. So like the reality is it doesn't matter what you do, right? You can't win that game because all they're going to do is just wait until you make a mistake and then wash you out. This is why, like, when it's a choppy market making day, I don't want to be involved in that because I don't have an edge in that action, right? The only person that has an edge in that action is the largest market makers. That was the whitest loogie I've ever talked. It's like pure white. I gotta get my immune system to chill out now, man. It's I freaked out because I had the flu and now I'm over the flu. I'm pretty sure that I'm just straight up over the flu. System is still like, ah. The cough is going to be the last to go. Yeah, well, last time I got really sick like this, although I would say that the last time I got sick like this, it was like way worse. I had that cough, went for like 3 weeks afterwards, right? And then I finally went to the doctor and they gave me like prednisone and that made it go away. I don't feel like super like coughing right now, but I took that cough suppressant. I took the Mucinex at like 10, so probably won't feel that until 10. Back to 3.5. See, it seems to me. Okay, sorry, Kyle. Did Liguardo already speak? Oh, I didn't see that one on the calendar. But no, I didn't hear anything. I see ECB's President Lagarde speaks at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Much later in the day. It seems to me if I had been doing some of like my market making strategies to the short side here in the full treasury, that I'd be doing really well. But I don't know if there's any way that I would have been able to pull anything out of the micros here. Due to deliver pre-recorded opening remarks at a virtual conference hosted by the European Systemic Risk Board. Well, I have one that was a long time ago. It was like 2-3 hours ago. So maybe she's speaking twice today. But Forex Factory doesn't have this one that I have listed at 11, so... Anthony Crudelli says, today is the one day every quarter I stay away from day trading ES, NQ, and RTY because of the rollover. And I'll discuss why. I got long copper this morning. Ooh, copper. Ooh, copper. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be that neither of them are important. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, you missed that whole conversation, David, about how I just don't care anymore. I was remarking how it looks like the politicos this morning are talking about that and are quite, you know, the jimmies have been rustled, and I'm just like, whatever. Don't care. Biden does dumb things. Whatever. Doodah. Whatever. Seeing corn sell here. How is copper doing? Is copper done? No, it hasn't done anything interesting. I like copper on a longer term trade. So I have this conundrum. Can I tell you something really embarrassing? Like, this is the most embarrassing thing. Like, one of the most embarrassing things I think I've ever done. One of the most embarrassing things I think. I own Zillow. I own Zillow stock. I know. Look, I did it like after everything had collapsed, and I said like, well, it looks good. I looked at everything. I was like, I think that they'll get past this eventually. But the market disagreed with me, so they got pummeled a little bit more by the market just for being Zillow, and then of course they got pummeled by the market from the downside in 2021 overall. So I'm sitting here with this $500 loss on Zillow, I think it is, and I'm asking myself, so should I take the loss? Should I get out of it? So I went in to get rid of it. It was like, okay, let's do all the research, get rid of it. And I looked at it. I still like it. Like, from a valuation perspective, I think that this stock should be going for double what it is. So I didn't do anything. But then I'm like, but maybe I should just take the tax loss, because like, maybe it comes back, but is it really the place to be? Let's take the tax loss, turn around and put some money into copper, for instance. Decisions. The thing that we have here is like, day trading is like such a different game, because I can come in and I don't have to get involved if I don't want to, right? I can say this is like just crap action. I don't want to be in this. Whatever the deal is. This move up now, I was kind of eyeing this like, okay, maybe we get 3.9. Well, we can take it, and we can take the pullback and maybe get something out of it. Nah, I don't think so, because that kind of suggests to me that we are not seeing the kind of flows that I was hoping for still. So I don't know if I can predict what it's going to do next, if they're going to come to the open or if they're going to go back to the lows or what. I think I should just sit on it. And I can do that. I can do that, right? Managing a portfolio is a different game. Is it Spotify? No. Because, you have to put the money to work and you miss out. And putting money to work in one place, it's the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost is like huge. So how do I manage that? I don't have an answer yet. What's the sizing though? Well, I think that when I bought it, I put about $700 into it. So it's like 700 and I last 400 or 500, right? So if I sold it right now, the advantage would be I can take a loss on my taxes and I can put the money into something else. But the disadvantage would be that it does look like that it looks good from a couple of different perspectives that I've been looking at, and I think that I don't think that I'll make all of the money back, but I think that it will at least double from where it is now. And then the whole thing is like, okay, so what else could I put this in that would more than double? I don't know. Double down? No, I'm not gonna put more into it. But yeah, it is stock picking. What is going to be the interest for buying a home next year? That's a good question. For sure, if we're gonna stay in it, it's gonna take a couple years for it to come back, right? But I think that when the thing is I tell you what, there's a lot of people on social media. Everybody just wants the housing market to go down, right? Well, it's come down. There might be some more downside to it. Zillow isn't necessarily directly tied to housing prices per se. But it is tied to activity levels, right? And when it comes back, it's going to come roaring back, right? Because we're not building enough homes, guys, and we're not doing anything to change that so that we build more, So I think in the long run, the real estate market is going to continue going up, right? I guess Spotify did decide that we've listened to that whole playlist or something. On the other side of it is that probably we're close to the interest rates are rising, that the housing market is going to do the worst. And when they get to like, okay, we like this interest rate and we're just going to hold it here, which we should be like by the end of the first quarter of next year, right? So this quarter should be like the bottom, right? I hope. I hope. Thanks for doing the streams. Thanks for watching. It's a rough game. Every once in a while, I'll get called by a recruiter for a company that I'm for pretty much anybody in the tangentially financial. It's kind of like, I don't know if we'd still be able to do the stream if we work for them, right? And it's a real conundrum, because it's like, well, if people really want me, and they're going to pay me for it, probably I should take it. But I don't want to give the channel up, I don't want to give doing the streams up. I don't know what I would do with myself if I wasn't waking up and trading every morning. I would get so bored. And sometimes, I really question myself, because it's like, am I really making a difference? Like, are people getting enough out of this, and am I getting enough back in return to justify doing it? And probably not. But I just keep going on. I don't know. And here's the other thing about it, is that, like, I really have been along for the ride, haven't I? Like, I was like, okay, I want to trade. That was the one thing that I had decided a long time ago. I want to trade, start trading. And then they did that thing like, the contest, you can get a Ninja Trader license if you record it and make a video journal. So I did that. They canceled the thing, and I had a good base of subscribers to start with, though. And so I just kept going with it. I never sat down and said, okay, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and this is where I'm going to take the YouTube channel, and this is my overarching plan and everything. It was just, I wanted to do something, and it fit a need that people had. And so we've kept going with it. And I've kind of been along for the ride. And I don't know where it goes from here. Because, I mean, certainly I love what we're doing now, but certainly there's a next step too, right? Where we continue to make the channel better, and I'm not sure what the next thing that we do is. But you know what? We've been in this place before. We were kind of in this place in 2020, and we did really well with it. So I think I need to just stay diligent. That's some pretty strong buying there, 19.5. It's really odd how strong the buying in the 10-year has come back. Do you think they're fighting over it? Like, maybe this was somebody was selling, and then the original buyer come back and is defending their trade or something? It's been a long time since I've seen the Treasury really do like back and forth, right? It's been much more likely to pick a direction and stick with it, or just chop, right? And that's what it's been like since 2020. Now all of a sudden, two-way action, I'm almost like, don't know what to do. NOL, NOB, hint, hint. Spread trade. There was a guy contacted me on Twitter, was saying, oh, we have this spread strategy. We need somebody to run it. I was like, I don't think I can do that. If I get my Series 3, then I could do it. And I could tell them out, actually. That's the other thing, is that if we're gonna come in and do like a investment company, it might be the most boring one ever, right? Like the strategy or the things that we're trading might be really super boring, You know, because apparently it can be as simple as, oh yeah, you give your money to us when you die, while you're going through probate and stuff, and that's all we do is manage that. We just put it in short-term debt instruments or whatever, and you know. But there's somebody out there that does that. Pretty sure there's somebody out there that's like all they do. Most boring job ever? Probably. But I bet you it pays. Somebody has to do it. There is an open arb between the listed ones, implicitly implies one of those two is lying. Ride the gravy train for the quarter. Well, you're just going to have to move over here. When we start the investment company, you're just going to have to move over here. You know. How long is the degree that you're doing? Is this going to be like a 4-year thing? How deep are you going now? Nah, I think we have to do a lot of study. So if we can get some study on the level of what we've done for market microstructure on portfolio management, then I think we'll be in a good spot. Because don't forget that I do have certain advantages from having this combination of being very technically oriented and really understanding the computer stuff. It's 4 years. Okay, well. That's another thing that I've been thinking about is like, well, if I'm going to do an investment advisor company, I might need partners. I might need to get other people involved. It's either that or I end up working for somebody else. That could happen. But then it comes back to, yeah, but then can I still stream and stuff? Like, where do we go with that? Let's see how long it takes to actually achieve, because I'm under no pressure. I am in here purely for intellectual satisfaction. Well, that's good. I think it would be nice to be like Nassim Taleb and just... I do kind of wonder what is his average day like. I said, you know, I tell you what. If Nassim Taleb could hire me to manage his YouTube channel and help him make content, we could do some amazing things. Nassim, I want to help. I've got a nice camera. I got some ideas for you. We can make some awesome stuff. Let's do it. A day in the life of Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He probably spends most of the day advising people on calls and talking about really boring statistics that we don't understand. Well, there was just a little bit of a downtick. Here's our chance. If we want to go long rates again, we could do the 3.49 that we had a lot earlier in the day. I don't know if that one makes sense. I think that if I was going to do anything, it would have to be short rates, because the order flow in the 10-year is very much ever since, well, 7:15 my time. So for an hour now, over the past hour, it's just been very consistently to the buy side in the 10-year. I don't know if you would get a good price, but it seems like that might be a better direction. Oh, by the way, S&P 500 at 39.71. So it looks like they're catching a little bit of resistance here, so they must know that this is the price. But I think that all it should take is just another little skip above here, and we might get some CTA action coming in. could get interesting in the S&P 500. They might have to fight over it though. Excuse me. Let's come over to Zero Hedge, see what they got now this morning. Labor talks collapse as New York Times staffers officially begin strike. What do you think about Bookmap? I think it's a cool tool. I haven't worked with them or used it before. I think that the DOM is a more useful tool than the heat map. So, especially if you're going to trade treasuries. So, I don't think about them too much because, yeah, they have an okay DOM, but it's just not as good. So, I guess the point is there's nothing wrong with it, but I like my Jigsaw. Nothing new on Zero Hedge. I'm seeing a little bit of a rise in Bitcoin. My nose itches. Here comes the mumble rap. Oh, is this the one with the mumble rap? I don't remember. Oh, that's right. So Harris made a video yesterday that was like reviewing the year and talking about his goals for next year. One of the things that he was talking about was that they built a new studio and that he personally hasn't used it, but that his music guy has been using it. Like, he's been working 40 hours a week. He's been working regular job hours making music with it. So that makes me wonder, like, oh, so I wonder what the next set of stream beats is going to be like. Okay, so supposedly Christine Laguard is supposed to speak at 11 o'clock my time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Far enough in the future that I don't have to worry about it. I have some tracks. I got some good tracks. You want to hear a track? I got a track that I'm really into. Oh, I should have bounced it. Should have bounced it. I'll bounce it this weekend. I won't pull it up right now. I can play. We can listen to my Trancy one. I bounced that one. It's not complete. That one's not completely done. This other one is, I would say, pretty much completely done. Wonder if she will talk about the pressing needs for climate. Dude, the ESG thing. So, okay. So we haven't talked about this on the channel. We should talk about this, okay? Joe Biden made a change to the rules around 401ks and stuff. So, Donald Trump had this thing that said you always have to factor in what makes people the most money, into your whatever it is. And Joe Biden changed it and said you can put ESG, environmental, social, governance concerns into your investing. So what does this mean? It means that I can be setting up 401ks for a company, and I can say your default contribution is going to go to an ESG fund. That's basically what it means. So to your regular person, you're probably not gonna matter, but it opens up this money for ESG funds. And the more that I've been looking at ESG funds, the more it's like, because look, I'm all for what we invest in matters, and that the maximum profit shouldn't always be the only determining factor in why we invest, especially if it's personal investments. Okay, but as far as I can tell, ESG fund is just a really good excuse to charge a higher management fee. They have higher management fees and they don't make as much. It's just like, okay. All the farmers are running around with their tractors here protesting government decisions. So tell me, Akshay, is in your country, this whole thing about them, they're going to kick out 3,000 farmers, is that like super huge news, or is it? Start an investment company and make it an ESG fund and charge a higher management fee? This is exactly why this is exactly where I was going, Morgan. It's a good excuse to listen. I'm not in on the whole the global warming is going to end the world cult. It is a cult. I'm not saying global warming's not happening. I'm not saying it's not a concern. I'm just saying it's not going to end the world. Okay. But some people are. And I say that if somebody thinks the end of the world is coming, that's probably a profit-making opportunity for me. Yeah. The problem is just that you know what the technology is that we need, right? It's nuclear power. Don't tell them I told you that. Let's see here. Where did I put it? I like this one. Hey, this one's light, isn't it? Yeah. Short spilling. I really like those super subby 808s or sub basses that just kind of go across the spectrum all over the place. That was one of my favorite things in music. Largely to meet with the EU NOx fumes. On average, you can see about 10 to 15 farmers per farm, unless you count only the owner as a farmer, which the government is doing. Oh, really? So it's not actually 3,000 farms, less than that. Oh man, they went higher, didn't they? Ooh. Okay, back to the open, actually. Round trip. What do you guys think? Should I have taken a trade somewhere in there? Nah, I'm like, when I was up here, I was thinking, should I be going long? Is this going to continue? No, I don't think I should mess with it. Right. So it's really more like 300 farms. That's still to me, like, what it bothers me that the government's just going to come in and take your farm. They're just going to buy it from you. That is just like such a violation. Just a fundamental violation of. Oh, no, you're saying it's the other way around. So you're saying that there's 3,000 farms and there's about 10 people per farm, so it's about 30,000 people that are going to lose their jobs. Oh, okay. They're saying they're shut down 3,000 individual farms. Gotcha. I can't understand how anybody would be thinking that that's okay. Like, here's the reality of it, is that when we were kids, we all thought, yeah, freedom is pretty cool. Well, you know, that George Bush guy, some people that don't like what he's doing with the Patriot Act, but you know, we've made a lot of progress over the last few hundred years, and I hope that we just continue to progress as a society and become more and more free. And then, like, where the hell did we go wrong? Where in Europe they just straight up, you can't have this farm anymore. We'll buy it from you. Don't worry. We'll give you a good price. Just what? How is that okay? How is anybody? Like, of course the farmers are upset, but how is not like every person in? Man, are there people over there that really think that's okay? With food inflation running into double digits, the only sane thing to do is to make it more expensive. High prices only cured by higher price. Yeah, there you go. I just can't wrap my head around what the Europeans are doing over there, man. Because of course I can see some idiot gets into government and wants to make that kind of a decision, but like that would have to be an insanely unpopular policy, right? Like that's on a policy that to me sounds like 99% of the public would oppose, you know? How are these politicians doing that sort of a thing and not like being kicked out already? People are more concerned about energy bills, even worry about what's happening to, well. So you're saying that people aren't actually paying as much attention to it as they probably should, huh? Okay, let's listen to my song. Listen to my song. It's a good song. Wait, I might have to. Oh yeah, some acid in that. Is that too loud? It's definitely super trancy, isn't it? I feel like I should have something to say, but I'm just I like listening to it too much. I like my own music too much. When I started playing that, I'm like, wow, my music really is a lot harder than really doesn't make good background music. Yeah, why is it giving me all that? Oh, did I just get disconnected? Anyways, there was my song. That was the song. So why was I bringing up the songs? Oh yeah, because like I have a couple like that are all pretty close to done. And I need to just like get them done and put them out, I think. Sounds like a Tiesto mix. Well, I'm certainly happy to be compared to Tiesto. I forget who was it. There was during that period he had a different producer that he was working with. Okay, so in Ashke, continuing on the conversation, it's not being reported as 3,000 farms being shut. It's being reported as 3,000 peak NOx polluters being shut. So, like, yeah, everybody's like, yeah, ESG. Is the public really that, like... It's really frustrating because it's like you're seeing, like, all this crazy stuff going through, freedom's being thrown out the window, and, like, there's nothing you can do about it, right? It's like, oh, wow. They really can do whatever they wanted. Like if the elites straight up just decided, okay, you can't say what you want to say anymore. Freedom of speech is going away. They could probably do it. They just haven't chosen to do it. That's how I feel when I see that sort of stuff. Well, we're kind of creating a little bundle of volume here just at the high of this distribution now. This is a really interesting one because look, you got a pretty good distribution there. I guess you could say this might be downside failure, yeah? Because you got that profile that's kind of like trailing off, and now we're starting to push into the other side of it. And maybe they do end up pushing up here to maybe the 26 and forming a bigger node. That would be an unusual volume distribution for the day, wouldn't it? Octavius Alligator, are they getting rid of the GE euro dollar future? They are getting rid of it, right? Actually, are they when they switch over to SOFRs, the euro dollar would just be gone, right? Bring back the 17th century Dutch who ate their prime minister in the town square because he was deemed inept. Humans. I wish I wasn't one of them sometimes. Because you're supposed to use the SOFR futures now. So the whole thing, my understanding about this, I don't remember the specifics. Actually is going to correct me here for sure, right? But basically there was euro dollar and there was a LIBOR. Yeah, SOFR. Short-term overnight funding rate. Something like that. So there was kind of all this fixing going on in that rate market. And so they kind of came back and they decided that they need a system that's a little bit more hybrid and stuff. So that's why they shifted to, they came up with SOFRs and started shifting everything to that. So we're kind of in a weird limbo area, but by like Q2 of next year, like euro dollar basically won't be a thing anymore. It will all be, the rate that everybody will be using is the SOFR. Now they're not going to shut euro up. That's something completely different, right? And it'll be interesting because the SOFR is different. I mean, it's run differently, right? So I don't know what the effects on that market microstructure for that instrument will be and everything, but I don't know, man. It kind of looks like the Treasury wants to keep going, and the 10-year volume, or we're still seeing pretty steady volume come into the 10-year long. I hate this cough, man. Shadow banking, yeah. I mean, the reality is, as far as I understand it, is that it means that the short-term funding market is less free market now, right? And supposedly it's supposed to just, like, we won't even notice. Yeah, so far, it's gonna be like I'm built different, yeah. I don't know what the net impact is. There's probably going to be some sort of devious change to the market microstructure that it makes that is really bad for everybody. And, you know, I spoke too soon. Oh man, they just turned back down, didn't they? Jeez. I'm really frustrated lately, guys, just because, you know what, I've been staying on the sidelines a lot, and I'm pretty proud. Like, we did lose some earlier, and I wish that I hadn't lost as much as I did, but I think we're still like net profitable before data fees, at least. But it's just really frustrating to see so many moves, and I have like no clue what's driving it. Not much change. It effectively means what the rate is arrived when the collateral is US securities instead of what bank A says it can buy slash sell at. That made no sense to me. What the rate is arrived when the collateral is US securities instead of what bank A says it can. And that came back so hard, and it broke the bottom end of the range. I don't know, folks. It seems like there could be some opportunity in here today, but I'm not sure where it's at. Three, 4, 8. Look at the volume in the micros. It's pretty randomly distributed. I don't think the retail traders made money today, guys. Fed's argument is since it's USD denominated, it should follow what the US treasuries or collateral made up of those charges. Okay. So it should follow the federal funds rate, basically. This person on Twitter says next week completes a critical report period where the last two major reversals were made. If bonds continue to advance, a weekly high should be complete no later than next week. Not FR, but bills, which should follow FFR, but is actually more contingent on how much free cash primary dealers have. Yes, gotcha. That part makes sense. I wonder what this key report period this guy on the treasuries is talking about. Dave Portnoy, I think, complaining about the prisoner swap too, saying Biden got fleeced. As a video, I won't bother. Well, back to 20 isn't a huge deal. I mean, that's just like the open, right? Joe Biden says it's not every day you get to meet your heroes. Okay, this is a propaganda video. Yeah, okay. So meeting a veteran, that's cool, I guess. Very complicated stuff. Ignore it. Just remember the age-old adage: up equals good and down. Okay. Well, it's going down right now, so that's bad, right? It reminds me of that whole line from the bad guy's mantra from Wreck-It Ralph, right? I'm bad and that's okay. Or something like that. I can't even remember what it is now. Oh, we watched it the other day and the kid was so into it. It was like he realized, oh, this show is about video games, and he watched it so intently. I mean, like, we watched it before and he didn't care. At that time I was like, oh, look, there's Pac-Man in it. I love that game. Bloomberg Crypto. Senator Elizabeth Warren wants an accounting from Fed Chair Jerome Powell and other top bank watchdogs on links between major lenders and the crypto industry. Yeah, I'm bad at... Oh, now I'm going to have to look it up. Yeah, this is like the bad and on affirmation. I'm bad and that's good. I will never be good and that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me. That's not what it is. Okay, so I'm not going to take a trade because this, it's really close to my time period, and these flows have been kind of perplexing, but I still see the volume going long. So I think that if I had to take a trade, I think the trade that I would be taking right now is going long here, in the hopes that this flow that we're seeing in the 10-year continues through, and later in the day we pop up. And I'm always looking at around 9:30 to see what the how the flows change when European markets close. In fact, look, there was a little bit of a spike there, I think. Good call. And maybe it ends up being a good call. I'm not... Even if I was sticking around, I don't know if I would be confident enough in that call to put money on it. I'm still really nervous about... Well, I mean, like we're not being driven by news. I didn't come in here with some flow that I was expecting to see today that I thought was going to move treasuries, right? Like, we're kind of in a period where, I think that our edge is just, we just don't have as much information, right? So we kind of have to just be careful. So when that happens, I think the temptation is to try and see a trend and just try and jump on the trend. And, that's the inclination you kind of have to fight it against, because you're just going to get caught. And you can see how if I tried going along with any of these moves that I would have gotten caught. I mean, there was room to make money, but I don't think that I would have made the right choices. Probably do the opposite of what I would have been inclined to do, and then maybe you would have made money. Does look like they want to pop up a little bit though. Man, the move in oil today, talk about whiplash. They started out at 72.5, went all the way up to 75.5. So up $3 and then down $3. I think it was the pipeline rupture that's driving that move, but good grief. Trump hosts Mar-a-Lago event with prominent QAnon Pizzagate conspiracy theorist. Jeez. It must have been wild trading oil on the floor of the NYMEX. How this not they still have a floor for oil on NYMEX now? But if they do, I wonder how active it actually is. Certainly there was certainly a time. I really do wonder, like, what are we, you know, because the floors are basically practically gone. What are we missing out on? You know? Act 21. I don't know. This area between 21 and 24 is basically like overnight positionings, like right between the buyers and sellers. So like it really could just chop and slice and dice us here. Floor trades, that's online now, if any, no edge, I think. Yeah, that sentence made no sense, Steve. We need to work on that. Typing faster. So that I knew a guy who had a seat and died from a heart attack. Really? But like, that's the whole thing, is like, if I was on the floor, what would I be learning from people? That's what I always think about, right? Is just that there's this like community that existed that doesn't anymore, and how is what is society missing from that? You know, was it really a valuable thing, having everybody together and talking? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe we'll make our own trading floor on VR chat. I have this picture of all of these Ugandan knuckles people trading, you know, online on a trading floor. Really futuristic. I would love to make that. Maybe I need to focus on that. There's a buy at 22. Where were we? We're at 348, I think. So $10. Should have done it. That went faster than I thought it would be. That would be epic. I love Ugandan knuckles. You'd be able to use whatever avatar you want as long as it fits a certain size, and you know, you'd still do the hand signals and stuff, right? You'd still do hand signals, but it would be all handled electronically. It'd be perfect. And you'd still have like local chat, right? So you'd still be able to hear the people around you. VR pits. This isn't the first time we've spoken about this. Maybe I should get into Unreal Engine again this weekend and make one. Soviet tank you can? No. What? I don't know, I have to go look that up. But you know what, guys? It's time for me to get going. So, what should we put for today's title? I don't know, man. Today was a mess. It was kind of sloppy, wasn't it? It was pretty tight and choppy. It's like if I put in here, today was tight and choppy, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't watch it. This was a boring day, and this was a boring day, and you shouldn't That's what I should put in the title now. Man, I got nothing. I got nothing. Watch it before ending stream pizza. What? Sloppy arguments. That is what it is. This is a inside day ahead of big news week. Part 2. There you go. America F you. I would love to just make that title of every. When I was on the Tinders, I had a picture of me in front of the New York Stock Exchange like this. You've seen that picture, right? Seen that picture, and they have the American flag in front of it and everything. That's my favorite picture, and it worked. That was my best conversion picture. And I'd say, commies swipe left. Catch you guys tomorrow. Stay excellent.